We've got some college basketball talk tonight, including defeat of one of the top teams in the country this week, some hurry-up offense in college football, and finishing it off in the last segment tonight, NHL trade deadline this week. What was the best trade made? Coming up in the roundtable.
Live from Studio A, this is the Roundtable.
Underwriting for the Roundtable is brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market, New York Pizza and Pasta, Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, located in Adams Residence Hall.
Live from Studio A, this
Welcome to the Roundtable, another Friday edition of the latest and greatest sports show here at the University of Oklahoma from Studio A. Guys and gals, this is the last show till March 28th. Are you sad?
Oh, man.
Let's meet the panel for tonight, starting with the Cope, Brett Coppenbarger.
Hello, Zach. I sure am going to miss you next week when we don't have a show.
Moving on to Mason Prince, Mr. Gaylord, if you had.
Oh, stop. I put my pants on one leg at a time, except after I put my pants on, I win pageants. So.
Newcomer of the week, Joe DuVall.
The table is actually round, in case you're wondering at home. So.
And Kate Sandoval, who's rocking a ponytail look.
This is not actually a pony's tail.
Oh, my gosh. This is happening.
Let's start things off.
There you go, Kate. That was good. That was good.
Let's start things off.
Heavy hitters brought to you by Raising Cane's.
The Duke Blue Devils fell to the Wake Forest Demon Deacons Wednesday night, a surprising defeat for the number 4 team in the country. After the game, however, the worry centered on Coach K, who had spells of dizziness throughout the game. Coppenbarger, should Duke be more worried about the loss, or whether Coach K will be healthy enough to coach?
They should definitely be more worried about Coach K's health because Coach K is the face of the Duke Blue Devils. His career win percentage, .763. That's nuts. Overall win-loss is 980 to 304. He's not just a college coach. He coaches Team USA. And when LeBron James, the best player in the world, says that you're one of his mentors, that's saying something. I sure hope this doesn't shorten Coach K's career in any way. I hope it's not reoccurring.
I sure hope Coach K's okay, but the biggest thing is the loss for Duke because that loss puts them now in 4th place in the ACC behind North Carolina. So now they have to beat them to at least tie for the 3rd seed in the ACC tournament. Listen to this. Duke is 176th in the nation in rebounding. North Carolina is 8th. Duke has got to rebound the ball if they want a chance at being a top 3 seed in the ACC tournament.
See, Duke has 4 national championships, okay? All under Mike Krzyzewski, and in 2 of those they lost to an unranked Wake Forest team. It's not a loss that's that big a deal. They've overcome losses to unranked teams before. In every national championship, they've had 2 losses, okay? So 1 loss in a regular season doesn't hurt you. They've been a 1 or 2 seed 13 out of the last 15 years or something. It's something they can handle. Regular season doesn't mean that much if you're Duke.
Yeah, okay. Definitely the Coach K thing is the issue. He's the top chef of the NCAA. When he's in the kitchen, something good's going to get served. When his assistant Wojo took over, it was easy mac for the Blue Demons. So, I mean, Coach K, he's the reason for the season.
Joe DuVall, welcome to the show. Getting the point right off the bat, teaching me something I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Moving on.
You silly goose.
They hold the camera shot for a while.
Sticking in the world of college basketball, we talked about Kansas clinching the Big 12 regular season title last week. Michigan thumped Illinois on Tuesday to win the Big 10 title outright. Virginia also claimed their first ACC title since 1981 last weekend. Prince, what team is the hottest in college hoops right now?
I'm going to give a shout out to my boy Jake Pierce, who is a swimmer at the University of Virginia, and say that the University of Virginia, go Hoos, is the hottest team in basketball right now. They've won 13 straight games. And, Brett, what wins championships?
Winning.
Defense wins championships. They are number 1 in scoring allowed. So give me the Hoos, go Hoos, all day, every day.
See, I'll take a team that's won a national championship before and a team that's flying under the radar in North Carolina. People don't often think of the Tar Heels flying under the radar, but they've won 12 in a row, beating aforementioned Wake Forest by 33, beating Duke, beating then number 25 Pitt. Roy Williams has won a national title before, and he's been to a Final Four with another team. I like North Carolina.
Yeah, 12 in a row is pretty good, you guys, but I'm going to go with 32 in a row. Pay attention.
Okay, well,
it's the Wichita Shockers.
Who'd they play?
I'm definitely going to surprise some people here by saying this, but OSU is the hottest team in the country right now because Marcus Smart is back, and he's here to prove all the haters wrong. They're undefeated since he's back, and that they still have Markel Brown just balling out, a great offensive and defensive player. You know, OU doesn't want to face him in the Big 12 tourney or the NCAA tourney at all. So
it's a good thing you're pretty. That's all I got to say. It's a good thing you're pretty.
Well, thank you, Mason.
We're giving the point to Brett because I actually well
right.
think that the Oklahoma State Cowboys are one of the hotter teams. Joe, good point, but I'm just agreeing with the Oklahoma State Cowboys on this one.
Oh my gosh.
Golly.
Moving on.
Nice teeth.
Yeah, they're
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Beautiful teeth.
A unique story out of the NBA. 12-year-old Louis Corbett suffers from a rare eye disease. The New Zealand boy got to see his beloved Boston Celtics play Wednesday night, part of a trip his family is taking him on to check things off his bucket list before he goes blind. What a great story. DuVall, what are 2 things you would do if you would soon go blind?
See, if we're talking just sports, I'd have a different answer because maybe I'd like to see the Louvre or the Coliseum. But if we're just talking sports, I'd like to actually go catch a foul ball at a Major League game and go to every single stadium on a tour until I catch a foul ball. Because some of these things you can do if you're blind. You can experience the smells of a park and things like that, hear the crack of the bat, but you're not going to catch a foul ball if you're blind. And I've never done that before, and I would love to do that. And I'd also like to hit a hole-in-one.
I don't think you should underestimate a blind person being able to catch a foul ball. I mean, it'd be difficult, but I mean, you're right, it probably wouldn't happen. So if I'm going blind, there's 2 things I need to do. First, I want to spend all night looking at Zach Sepanik, and then
Wow.
I want to spend all morning looking at you.
No.
That's
no.
good.
All right, if I'm blind, first off, I'm not going to go see the Boston Celtics. I think it's a great story, but, go see the Thunder, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Team OKC
He said
over
he's
here.
a fan. He's a huge
And
fan of the Celtics.
okay, if I could do anything, Super Bowl, obviously, big sports fan. Going to the Masters is cool. But, what about the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition photo shoot? Why not go to that?
Okay, that'd be cool. to do.
Okay.
But the one thing that I want to do is go to the Red Sox-Yankees playoff game and a non-sports related thing. I want to be the first person in the world to see a sunrise, go to the International Date Line, and go on one of those remote islands, watch sunrise, be the first person to do that.
That is specific.
That is. That is specific.
Hey, everybody had some cool things to do. Kate, I can't give you a point for sucking up, but I'm going to give it to Mason.
I was being
Mason
serious.
Prince with the point. Moving on, LeBron James poured in a career-high 61 points on Monday against the Charlotte Bobcats. It was also Miami Heat franchise record. The effort catapulted James back to the top of the MVP race for many. Kate, who is your MVP as of right now?
I think it's really great that LeBron James put up 61 points against the Bobcats, but Melo put up 62, so just going to say that. So as for MVP, I think it's pretty obvious. You got to go with Kevin Durant. This guy's incredible.
I'd have to agree with you, Kate, because Kevin Durant is the MVP this season, but LeBron James is the better overall player. Let's not forget the day after LeBron James scores 61 points, Kevin Durant comes back against the Sixers and has 42 points in 3 quarters. And that's with missing 6 free throws. KD never misses 6 free throws. So if he has that, that's 48 points in 3 quarters, 61, that's easy for him.
The name of the award is the most valuable player. And who's the most valuable player to their team? That is Kevin Durant. Because when Russell Westbrook was out, Kevin Durant put the team on his back and carried them to the promised land, gave them one of the best records in basketball. It is Kevin Durant. LeBron James is the best player in basketball, but Kevin Durant is the most valuable this season.
Zach, if you're making me pick now, like I have to, I'll take Kevin Durant. But why can't I just sit back and enjoy what these guys are doing? These guys are having over a 30 PER for a season. That's only happened by 8 different players in NBA history. So can we not just sit back and watch them play some basketball?
Nope, you gotta pick.
Wait till I'll take KD. But these guys are playing incredible basketball, and I don't want to kind of split hairs and diminish it. KD though. And the worst hedging answer ever.
Slim Reaper for MVP.
Oh, my gosh.
Everybody went with KD, so everybody gets a point. Because
Yes.
there was
Oh,
nothing
man.
to that.
Yes. Everybody gets a point.
Worst point I've ever
Don't-
gotten.
Yes.
We are all.
So, going into the break, everybody with 2 points, Kate Sandoval with 1. And when we come back, we're going to be talking a little AFC champions, what's going on in their camp from the quarterback to the cornerback. We'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to the round table. Let's take a look at the scores before we start segment 2. Brett Coppenbarger with 2 points, Mason Prince with 2, Joe DuVall with 2, Kate Sandoval close behind with 1. It's anybody's game.
The Bandwagon, brought to you by New York Pizza.
Peyton Manning passed a scheduled off-season exam on a surgically repaired neck Monday. He's been medically cleared to play in 2014. Sources have also said the Broncos will release veteran cornerback Champ Bailey. Coppenbarger, what is the more surprising news from the AFC camp?
Well, everyone knew Peyton was going to come back, so this is a no-brainer in my opinion. Champ Bailey, one of the best cornerbacks of all time with an even better name, really. And I actually saw an interview recently where Champ Bailey said he was coming back to the Broncos, so this must be a surprise to him as well. 12-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first-team All-Pro, 52 interception. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, no question, and any team that has him will be lucky to get him.
I mean, this is one of the worst things about sports. It is a business, and Champ Bailey did not perform up to par, up to his standards even. He only played in 5 games this season with 12 tackles, 0 picks. So it's the better decision by the Broncos to let him go. It's time to move on, although I really wish he could finish his career with the Broncos.
Yeah, if we're talking surprising news, then it's Champ Bailey's the more surprising news. And he's going to be a Hall of Famer, as the guys talked about all the Pro Bowls, all the interceptions. He's going to be a Hall of Famer wearing a Broncos jersey. So that's why it's kind of sad. And as a Broncos fan, I'm a little mad at Zach for showing the Super Bowl highlights. And they're going to win the Super Bowl next year even without Champ Bailey.
Okay.
Calling it.
Yeah, I don't really think either one of these is a surprise. We all knew Peyton Manning wanting to come back. He's got one more bullet left in the chamber. He's going to fire it this year. He's going to come back, do what he can. And as for Champ, I mean, he really didn't perform this season. I mean, opposing quarterbacks were targeting him, so it's just, I don't know. It's surprising, but not really that shocking to me.
Let's give it to Brett Coppenbarger. I like the fact that he's already counting him in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, my goodness.
Moving to college football, there's been lots of talk about the speed of play, especially from Alabama head coach Nick Saban. The 10-second rule has been tabled by the NCAA Football Rules Committee just this past Wednesday. Is this a matter of Saban not being able to beat the hurry-up offense, or is player safety truly at risk? Mason?
No, player safety is not at risk. When I played football in high school, we had conditioning tests. So there is no way that college football players are less conditioned than high school football players who have no problem with the no-huddle offense. It's not that bad. You're not going to get players hurt. You know what? Get your guys on the line, Saban, and let them run a couple suicides. Get their heart rate up a little bit. Help your linemen out.
I think Nick thinks it's going to be a competitive advantage if this rule had passed, but he's just kind of paranoid and crazy like that. Auburn, Texas A&M, and Oklahoma, the 3 teams people talk about, were 61st, 62nd, and 63rd in plays per game. It wasn't that big of a deal. Nick needs to calm down. He's kind of like the guy, if you played pickup basketball, he'd call foul every time he shot, and you would hate him, and he wouldn't care because he would win.
Yeah, it's never been about player safety for the NCAA. When USC had all those sanctions on them, they ended up suiting up student managers. That's way more dangerous for player safety. And as far as the Nick Saban thing goes, we all know that he just can't stand an up-tempo offense like OU. Boomer.
Saban is just way too worried on this one. If he's so concerned about player health and safety, then he wouldn't be the coach pushing for an extra conference game in the SEC. So, and especially in a conference like that, hurry-up offenses, you're more spread out. So you would think that, faster pace, more spread out, there's less room for injury. I don't really see where Saban's coming from on this one.
We're giving the point to Joe DuVall. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe DuVall with the point.
I don't know what to do with me.
When we come back, we're going to be talking a little sighting of the San Francisco 49ers head coach in Lawrence, Kansas. That's Jim Harbaugh there at Allen Fieldhouse. And the WGC Cadillac Championship is this weekend on the PGA Tour. Stick with us. Welcome back to the round table. We got 4 more stories to decide the king or queen tonight, but before that, let's look at the scores. Brett Coppenbarger has 3, Mason Prince with 2, Joe DuVall, the newcomer, close right there with Brett with 3, and then Kate has 1. It's anybody's game, really.
Kids, brought to you by Sprouts.
Our play of the week comes to us from Lawrence, Kansas, where Jim Harbaugh was in town to watch the Jayhawks and the Texas Tech Red Raiders on Wednesday. He talked to the team before the game, and guys, guess what? He even hit a half-court shot out of nowhere. Are you more surprised Harbaugh hit the shot or was taken into Kansas Jayhawks basketball game, Brett?
Well, first off, I was most surprised that it seems that he doesn't have another change of clothes. He's wearing the exact same thing you see him wear on Sundays.
Yes,
like he came straight from a game. But I like what Bill Self's doing. He's bringing Harbaugh in to talk to his players. It's a coach from a different sport, so it can only be a positive thing, you know.
I'm sorry, I'm getting something. This just in, the Kansas Jayhawks are more sick of Jim Harbaugh's attitude than the 49ers. So that he should not be speaking to the Kansas Jayhawks. He should be out of anybody's hair because he obviously is not in favor of the GMs at the 49ers right now. He needs to stay away from other teams and just focus on his.
I definitely do like Brett's Doug Funny observation. Doug Funny has the same vest in his closet, those of you who are 90s cartoon fans. I'm going to give you a name right now. Adam Beatrice from Nashville, Tennessee, made 10 half-court shots in a minute. It's not that hard, okay? He's a grown man. He can get it there. It's basically luck. I'm kind of shocked he was in Kansas. I don't know what he and Kansas have to do together, so that's my answer.
Yeah, I think it was surprising he was in Kansas. As we saw, Rumble can make the half-court shot. Rocky, the mascot, can make the half-court shot. I mean, anybody can make the half-court shot nowadays.
Joe DuVall, 90s references. I mean, he topping Brett just slowly but surely. Joe DuVall taking the lead.
Give the new guy a win.
Moving on
I knew
to some baseball and football. Combine the two. Russell Wilson was at Texas Rangers spring training practice earlier this week. The Seahawks star quarterback used to dabble in some baseball back in the day. When asked about a return to his baseball playing days, Wilson commented, "Never say never." Did Justin Bieber say that? Anyway, Prince, will we ever see Wilson with a big league ball club?
I'll go ahead and say never, Russ. I mean, you're a Super Bowl winning quarterback. You've added 229 in the majors, and not in the majors, in the minors, with 5 home runs and 20 stolen bases. Stick to football. That's where you're going to make your money.
Yeah, 2 people since 1990 have pulled off the NFL, MLB kind of simultaneously, and they are Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson. Those are the 2 biggest athletic freaks that have ever walked this earth, and Russell Wilson is not that. He's successful in football. He just won a Super Bowl. You're not going to see him playing baseball.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to ever see him playing baseball, but I mean, maybe he could, try out, maybe be a jockey or something. No, I'm just kidding. I love short quarterbacks.
There's no chance we see him in the big leagues. He's a leadership guy, and, the Rangers want their players to have that type of mindset. And I don't think the Seahawks would be too happy if their, Super Bowl winning quarterback was like, "Hey, I want to play another sport in the offseason." No, that won't fly with Pete Carroll. Let me tell you that. He has some stuff to improve on the football field as well.
We're giving the point to Kate Sandoval. I love that little joke.
Yes.
Jockey references.
Jockey references.
Moving on to the NHL. The NHL trade deadline was on Wednesday. Lots of trades went down, and there were some big moves for some teams in important races, division, and within the conference. What was the most important or the biggest trade of them all, Joe?
The Tampa Bay Lightning getting Ryan Callahan is the biggest trade ever, and the Rangers are the biggest losers ever because they're making little kids cry with this trade. I don't know if you've seen it on YouTube. There are multiple kids who are so upset that Ryan Callahan left the team that they cried.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, there you go. Bingo.
Honey, tell me why you're crying, baby, so we can tell Daddy.
Look at that.
Making
New York. New York, what is wrong with you? You're making children cry by trading Ryan Callahan. The man was a 3-time Players Player Award winner, and now you trade him away and make kids cry. New York Rangers, biggest losers. Tampa Bay Lightning, winners.
You know who also is really good at making people cry? Mason Prince made a little kid cry on Sooner Sports Pad a couple weeks ago.
#blessed.
He is not good with kids.
#blessed.
I think 2 Czechs were traded for a Russian and a Slovakian. So, I mean, as long as the Czechs don't bounce, everybody wins.
Oh, my gosh.
I thought you meant like Czechoslovakia.
What is this?
Oh, no, you did.
Wow.
What is this?
So I followed Marion Gabrick when he was with the Minnesota Wild, but the Blue Jackets actually traded him to the Kings, and now they have that wing scorer that they desperately needed. The popular trade of the day was the St. Louis, deal to the New York Rangers, and obviously Joe doesn't really like that too much.
Do not like that trade.
I'm going to say that is the biggest trade, St. Louis for Callahan. But last night, the Detroit Red Wings retired Nicholas Lindstrom's number 5 jersey. The dude has played all 22 seasons for the Detroit Red Wings and won 4 Stanley Cups. He's a great player, one of the great guys in the NHL. I am happy that his number is retired, and he will retire a Red Wing.
Give a point to Joe for doing some homework and finding some clips, but
That's
also
good.
give a point to Mason, looking at one of the all-time greats in the history of the NHL. So throw Mason a point as well.
I'll take it. Okay.
Let's finish things up with golf. The WGC Cadillac Championships this weekend. Lots of talk about Tiger Woods and his back, if he would play or not. He is in the field. In last weekend's Honda Classic, Rory McIlroy had a solid lead but disappeared in the final round. Kate, who is this week's favorite, as two of the top players in the world are just simply struggling?
Yeah, I mean, the wind is blowing really hard in Florida right now, so I'm looking for, maybe a little bit heavier guy to be able to, have the strong, stable swing in those gusty winds. Patrick Reed's wife is due next month, and he's put on about 30 pounds of sympathy weight, so that should put him in the winner's circle.
I'm okay.
I was sad to see Rory blow that lead because I definitely picked him to win on the show last week. He couldn't put it away with an eagle putt on 18, but I'm still picking him for this tournament. He's getting used to his new clubs, and 2 majors for him.
I will always pick Tiger Woods forever and always. Tiger Woods, you're my boy. You're the best golfer in the world, and you will remain the best golfer in the world. Even if you're hurt, you've proved that.
I picked this morning. Dustin Johnson will win, and he's still in first place at -2. It's a crazy course. He's a long bomber. He gets it on the green. Dustin Johnson.
Hey guys, everybody's a winner here, but Joe has the most points, and even if I handed out a point here, he's still going to win. Joe, take it away.
Oh my gosh.
I am the greatest person to ever be on this show, let me tell you.
Joe, take a little FaceTime. Tell us something that in the sports world or in your heart right now.
Stuff that's in my heart right now is I'm a little sad that I came on the show and Zach Sepanik put on Denver Broncos highlights from the Super Bowl, even though he knows I'm a big Denver Broncos fan. I feel like that was deliberately made to make me upset and angry and throw me off my game. Maybe someone give me a little...
It obviously didn't work.
It didn't work, because look who's sitting at the top with FaceTime. I don't see anybody else's face up here. No, okay,
Hey, guys, we're going to have to say something to Matt McCulloch. Joe's sitting in his seat, and he's gotten more points than Matt has all year.
Yeah, I think he's gotten more points in one show than Matt has gotten combined all year. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Low. Something we can check out in the sports world this weekend. One thing, quick.
One thing?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, hockey is back. You need to keep watching hockey. It's heating up. Hockey.
Watch me at the Huff. I'll be shooting around tomorrow afternoon.
No.
Game time.
No.
Number 1, Oklahoma women's gym going on this weekend.
Yes.
There you go.
Well, I'm obviously excited to watch Sooner basketball. They're taking on TCU tomorrow. Should be good.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks for joining us on the Roundtable. We're back on March 28th. That's 3 weeks from now. A little bit of a break, but we can't wait to be back. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.
Woo! Writing for the Roundtable is brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market, New York Pizza and Pasta, Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, located in Adams Residence Hall,